here. And just a reminder, if you got any weather questions, you can always send them to me, ben@xtolmag.com. If you're not seeing something that you want, it might be some kind of map or some kind of forecast. This is your show, so send me an email, ben@extolmag, ben@xtolmag.com. And then also, if you want you've got a business or an organization, we can help you out with marketing and advertising. You can see your logos on my content right here. Again, that is ben@xtolmag.com. All right. So again, there's the weather headlines. Few storms today, mostly dry the rest of the week, and then relief next week. So we got plenty to talk about on today's edition of Ben at 10. The 30% chance of a pop-up storm today will give us a high around 89 degrees. And take a look at that double rainbow right there. That was a nice double rainbow out of the knobs here from Wes Bannett. So thanks for Wes for sharing that one. You can always share those photos too to Indiana Skies. It's a group on Facebook. And then I can take them and show them off right here and share them all over social media. So again, just search Indiana Skies in Facebook and join the group. So I think that probably that same rainbow. It's not too far from my house at the end of the day because of the showers. And then yesterday I took this picture of a little flock of turkeys. Are they called a flock? I don't know. A gobble of turkeys. But I've been watching these guys pretty much all year long, getting bigger and bigger as they just kind of roam around the same general area. So always nice to see that wildlife out there. So speaking of some events happening this weekend, the Big Knobs Fest, that's a good time. If you haven't been out there, this is your event for the weekend here in Southern Indiana, up in the Knobs, St. Mary of the Knobs. They got their famous chicken dinner, but take a look at the activities here for Knobs Fest, St. Mary of the Knobs. So Saturday, 5:30 p.m. to midnight, you've got games and pull tabs, live music, Juice Box Heroes will be out there, a beer garden, food trucks, gambling. They got Big Six, blackjack, tethered hot air balloons. A lot going on Saturday at Knobs Fest. Sunday, that's 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. To finish off the weekend. Famous chicken dinner, large kids zone, games of chance, games of skill, pull tabs, raffle drawing at 3 o'clock, food and ice cream. If you want to know more, you can get in contact with them. There's a phone number right there in the bottom right, or you can head to yoursmk.org. And also, starting Friday through the weekend, through next week, through the following weekend, 15th through the 25th, it is your Kentucky State Fair. Now, if I were going to advise you about the Kentucky State Fair, maybe hold your big visit until late next week, because that's when we should get relief. But we got a little bit of a heat wave to kick off the Kentucky State Fair with mid-90s, heat index likely over 90 for Saturday and Sunday. How many days? We're keeping track here. Before 8 p.m. sunsets, now 20 days away. Autumn begins in 39. Average highs in the 70s, 41 days. Halloween in 78 days. The forecast here for today, 89 degrees, 30% chance of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Partly sunny, muggy, west winds at around 5 to 10. We still have those dew points in the 70s, and that means it's pretty sticky air out there. Sunset at 8:38. And our forecast tonight, low 73 degrees. Now, tonight and tomorrow night, we could have some foggy spots because of some of the rain that we recently got. No wind, mostly clear sky. You just got foggy ingredients. So out the door, tomorrow morning and Friday morning, we might have a little bit of fog to deal with. Tomorrow's forecast for your August the 14th, mostly dry. I just put the wording isolated pop up. I think it's most of us are not going to see that. Our high temperature up to around 90 degrees. Again, after maybe a little bit of a foggy start, 86 at noon. And near our normal high of 89 for this time of the year. Normal low is 70. Sun up at 6:57. Our sunset at 8:37. And the 7-day forecast starts to ramp up here this weekend. We've got some more August heat to deal with. Perhaps this will be our last heat wave of August because, again, we've got plenty to talk about here as we dig into the weather model data, which we typically do around 10:15, 10:20. As we do the Ben on the Limb segment, we're going to be looking at that relief that's looking more confident with the weather models for the middle and end of next week. Before we get there, 92 Friday, mostly dry for the rest of this week. 95, right around 95, back to back, Saturday and Sunday. And that heat index around 100 to 105. We did this a lot in July. We're getting a little more taste of a heat wave for this weekend. So just take care, keep cool out there any way you can. Not bad to be by a body of water this weekend. Monday, 94, 92 Tuesday, maybe a couple showers and thunderstorms as we start to get that Canadian front to move into our area around Wednesday. So the GFS weather model, what I've noticed, the trend as we look at the long range data this year, it's been like a day ahead of the European weather model. It's been right sometimes, it's been wrong sometimes. So the GFS has that relief next Wednesday coming down. The European and the Canadian weather models has that relief dropping in as we head into next Thursday. Either way, looks like late next week, we are back to some feel good weather across the area. All right, just a slight drink of the coffee here as we take a live look outside. And we'll start to get rolling on into that weather model data. Getting some comments too. Let's take a comment break before we look at the weather models here. Lillian Lasley, we've got a good morning, another beautiful day. Christian Walker's good morning. And Robert Simpson saying, good morning. Looks like Mother Nature still has a chip on her shoulder. When you're hot as we continue on. Yeah, perhaps. It's been it's kind of a tough year of weather. Had a strong winter. We got battered in the springtime. We got the heat, fifth hottest July. And quite a bit of storms in July as well. This August has been better, in my opinion. Teresa Logston, good morning to you. And Christian saying, the Indiana State Fairgrounds Event Center and State Fair, August 1st to the 17th. So it is wrapping up. And then Laverne Bannett with a good morning. We had Wes Bannett with the rainbow picture earlier. And Alice Young with a good morning too. So thanks for all the good mornings piling up in the comments section. All right, we are going to get to, again, that model data. The radar and satellite, pretty quiet here for us this morning. Not really seeing anything popping up around our region. The active, let me get rid of the comment there. The active weather, you can see, is mainly off to the east. And then there is, as we look to the west, some tropical weather. This is Tropical Storm Erin. As we go full screen here. Started off the coast of Africa. So this is the historic path of Erin. And then there's Erin now, right smack in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. You can see the official track from the National Hurricane Center. Also on there, I've added the spaghetti models, the tropical models, and they are really hugging tightly to the official forecast. So it looks like confidence is high in this forecast track. Winds are around 47 miles per hour. It is forecast to become a major hurricane as it travels to the north of Puerto Rico. And then it's likely going to continue to curve and go over the open waters of the Atlantic Ocean. So the only place that might have to watch out for this would be Bermuda up over here. But it looks like it'll stay way off the east coast of the United States. So there's Bermuda, and then it might be a threat for those areas. It might give some wave action if you had any vacation plans along the east coast, maybe some riptides. But other than that, things are still quiet as far as any contact with the continental United States and tropical weather. All right, let me clear that out. And we've got Vicky. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. This is a Goodwill find. I don't even know what this logo is. I think it's a school. My daughter likes to go hunting around the Goodwills and the vintage places, thrift shops, all that's very popular these days. So every once in a while, she'll pick me up something if she's thinking about me. So that's where this one came from. Who knows? One of your family members may have bought this shirt. All right, we are back here. We're going to look at the weather models. We get out of the full screen. Christian Walker, I don't see any tropical weather towards Florida right now. As you can see, it's pretty quiet down there. As we load up the weather model data, the high resolution models were actually fairly quiet for today. So let's get to it as we I'm going to bring up the HRRR high resolution rapid refresh weather model. It's obviously picking up on the active weather to our east right now. So we're seeing a lot of activity from those storms last night that have moved off to the east. There's a little bit of a boundary. It's just kind of a wind direction shift. Very light winds. This is a very weak front over the region that might spark a couple of these downpours later on today. But the trend has kind of been over central southern Kentucky with the better chance. This is at 3 o'clock, showing most areas dry. This is at 4 p.m. Starting to see maybe a little pop up there. John Fox, good morning. Thanks for tuning in, sir. And then there you can see the development of a few of these pop-up downpours, tropical in nature, so they can be small but mighty with some heavy rainfall as that comes down. So if you did not get that rain yesterday, there's a little bit of a hope for that. I think, again, that better chances in Kentucky rather than southern Indiana today overall. That looks like the trend here. Just pushing this. This is around 8 o'clock today, and then this is around 9 o'clock, around sunset. And John Fox keeping an eye on the tropics there. Pretty possible disturbance in a week or so. Yeah, so if you ever want to play along with the tropics, you can just go nhc.noaa.gov, and that will take you right to the tropics. So there's a little bit of a little feature right here near the Yucatan Peninsula. It doesn't have much of a chance, only 20% chance. And we got Tropical Storm Aaron, expected to become a major hurricane. And then so other than Aaron, not a whole lot out there tropics-wise. All right, let's get back to the models. And so that is the HRRR high-resolution rapid refresh weather model for today. And again, in just a second, we're going to look a little farther out and take a peek at the relief I think we're going to see next week. All right, so this is at 4 p.m. today with the NAM 3-kilometer weather model. It's got a couple of storms popping up in southern Indiana. This is at 5 p.m. today. And this here is at 6 o'clock. It shows a little better chance than the high-resolution rapid refresh weather model of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. And then here is 8 o'clock today. So again, that's why I've got about a 30% chance of that rainfall out there for today. I'm going to bring this up full screen. And then I'm going to walk over really quickly and grab Big Happy Cup. Hopefully the mic stays on here. We'll take a look and grab a little extra coffee as we start to dig into the weather model data. Here, we'll listen to the coffee here. There you go, fresh coffee. Fresh coffee for everybody. All right, that's our coffee break of the day. Sponsored by whoever you want. All right. Well, now we got Big Happy back here. How's the mic? Did it mess up the mic at all? Do a little mic check. Mic's still good there? Yeah, hey, we're good. You never know if you walk too far away if the mics are going to mess up. So again, midway through the show, 10:22, digging into the weather models. Straight up dark roast coffee right there. Christian saying central Indiana did not get any rain, went straight east. Yeah, you guys might continue to dry out. The drought monitor will come out tomorrow, and I think we'll see more of the northern half of Indiana under drought conditions, which is obviously not good during the growing season. Okay, so back to the models here. It's at 8 p.m. today. This is at that's at 9 o'clock. So you get the picture. Random pop-up showers or thunderstorms. JK's, good morning. Thanks for tuning in here. Appreciate you being on the show. Now, other than that, let's do a look at the dew points, and then we're going to look at good news. We're going to focus on the good news now. The rest of the show is going to be good news. we hope. All right. So this is the dew point map. You see it's humid, summertime mugginess until you hit Colorado, Wyoming, and then you're in the desert air. The red is desert, blue is muggy. We're in the muggy zone, but we want that to change. And we're going to start to go into the long range. And I'm going to start it off with the Climate Prediction Center, but we got to start it off with this first. Just a reminder, we're going on a limb here. We're going to go out to the latter parts of the long range weather model data. All right, so there's our mugginess that we have now. I'm going to bring up the GFS weather model, and I'm going to also, I looked at the European, I looked at the Canadian weather model today to compare and contrast. They're about a day off. I'll explain that here in just a second. Oh, I said I was going to bring up the Climate Prediction Center. So let me stay good to my word here. That's the 6 to 10 day outlook. So toward the end of the 7-day forecast, I think we're going to start to see the influence of this cooler pocket of air dropping in from the Great Lakes. Now, what I really want to show you is the 8 to 14 day outlook. That's what we are talking about right here. That is going to be a good finish to August. Climate Prediction Center. This is a division of the National Weather Service, and their job is to look way out, and they are seeing that change as well. The western United States getting hotter, we start to get cooler. That is going to be very nice. We might see highs in the 70s, dew points in the 40s and 50s, fall-like conditions late next week, and let's see if the models can back us up with that as we bring up again the GFS weather model. And I'm going to bring up first, this is just kind of an easy way to glance at a weather pattern change. So this is today, and there is some refreshing air out there. It's out to the west, though, with that stronger front, and we just won't get into that. We're going to get into a heat wave this weekend. We're talking heat index over 100. So I'm going to push this right ahead to the 17th, which is Sunday, and we've got tropical air all over the place. All right, so that's not fun. That's super hot. Let me see if I can bring up, this is Sunday. We're looking at 95, the high temperature. Sometimes the GFS weather model won't show. So this is the heat wave. Whoop. This is through the weekend. This is hot stuff right here. So check it. Check it out. All of this is like heat index numbers that we don't like to see. 100, 105 is what we're feeling like Saturday and Sunday. Boo to that. All right. But let's go to Tuesday, shall we? So it's going to be Tuesday the 20th. No. Tuesday the 19th. Tuesday the 19th we go. All right. Now we're starting to see something. This is the front right here. It is still north of us. Tuesday next week, we are still in the heat wave. Let's watch the progression of this front as we go to Wednesday the 20th. We're going to go 5 p.m. Wednesday. That's right around when we have the high temperature. And now what's happening? Oh boy, the GFS is treating us good. 1 week from now, look at that trough. So a trough is a dig down of the jet stream. Heat wave down here over the Gulf and Southeast states. Desert just being a desert. But we're in the good stuff here. We're putting the happy face on that. This is Wednesday next week. Crazy good it might feel late next week. Let's just sit back and look at next Wednesday. Now, the caveat to this is that the European weather model and the GFS or the Canadian are about a day behind next Thursday. So give or take, next Wednesday, next Thursday, we should be in good shape. Now, let me clear that out. So that's the temperature, but let's look at the dew point temperatures and they kind of lag behind sometimes, but they're dropping as well. So this is next Wednesday, and this is going to be a sad day for the Peine family. Exciting and sad, as we're going to be taking Hannah and moving her into her dorms at IU. Been an emotional roller coaster here the last couple of weeks, folks. And those of you who've had children go to college, I'm sure, or go away anywhere, have been in the same boat. All right, let's go to the 21st. So this is next Thursday. We're loving this. Look at the dew point drop, 50s. I mean, guys, if this happens, this is like early fall for sure, like late September, early October. This would be the big mega weather headline here for us next week. Gonna be looking forward to this for sure. So that's the dew points. Precipitable water, that's going to be going way down. That's to measure the water content through the column of the atmosphere. And look at that. That's that potential hurricane, or that's probably Aaron wrapping up to the northeast, but tropical weather down south, Canadian air wins the battle for us. We'll be talking about this probably next Wednesday, next Thursday. How long can it linger will be the next question. It looks like a decent amount of time. Again, the Climate Prediction Center said that, okay, so that's the 21st Thursday, 22nd Friday next week. Again, the Climate Prediction Center showing above normal chances of below normal temperatures starting next week and maybe continuing for the rest of August, we hope. This is next Friday, the 22nd. And again, we see the tropical air staying south of us, bringing up the temperature. It's showing 70s, low 80s. We would take that, no doubt about it. Looking good next week, guys. All right, let's go bring back the precipitable water into next weekend. So that's Friday. We go into the 23rd is a Saturday. It's starting to try to creep up some tropical moisture. And I'm going to go into the following week. So that would be, so Friday 23rd is Saturday, 24th is Sunday, 25th would be a Monday, I believe. I'm not the best with dates. So we might get a couple cold fronts, one mid next week, one the following week. This would promote below normal temperatures overall as we wrap up August. So we're going to have some good news to talk about more and more day by day. So we're loving that. That is a look at your Ben on a Limb segment right there. All right. We are here at 10:32. Interested in the rain totals yesterday. We had 2.5 inches in our rain gauge this morning in Brandenburg. Good for you. That should hold you good through the weekend. And Christian saying, I can see all that heat. Yeah, looking at heat index numbers, 100 or above for this weekend. We've got some hot stuff for the weekend. Let me see if I can, Steve, bring up some of the rainfall totals. If the National Weather Service clears it out, then we won't have the rainfall total, but maybe we will. Rainfall total. So this is the rainfall total map. Oops, don't want that. Wait a minute. That's not what I'm wanting. Bear with me here. I thought I had a scene for this. There's live radar total precip. There it is. Look at this. Look at this. So this is yesterday and last night's precipitation. I'll bring it up full screen here for you. So you can see there were some, let me clear that up. Haves and have-nots as far as the rainfall yesterday. Man, there was a lot there. Western Breckenridge County. You were saying Brandenburg. Whoa! We slow down the zoom here. Okay, let me show you a couple things. So this is the radar site right here, Fort Knox radar site. And that shows some areas like around 3 inches east of Brandenburg. Brandenburg, this is right on target. You said 2.5 inches, Steve. That's showing around that amount in many locations surrounding Brandenburg. And then as we zoom out, who wants to know about rain? So if you look here, eastern Harrison County, western Louisville, almost nothing. South end of Louisville, about an inch around Okolona near the airport. J-Town over into Shelby County, Oldham County, like 1 to 2 inch amounts. Let's go over here into southern Indiana. This is Jeffersonville, parts of New Albany around an inch. And then Floyd County got a bunch, around 1 to 2.5 inches of rainfall. Scattered nature of summer thunderstorms. Some areas kind of dodged it, but there was a bunch out here as well. As you look into Washington County, Indiana, Orange County, look at that, over 3 inches in western Crawford County, southwestern Orange County, and then Salem, north of Salem. My buddy Adam Dufour up there had over 2 inches of rainfall. Madison, not much on the yards and gardens there. And then south, you guys are still looking for that rain around Elizabethtown, LaRue County. Grayson County got a good amount. So there's your summary for the rain that we picked up across the area yesterday. And Laura DeVore giving us a hello this morning. And we've got JK's. Thanks for going out on a limb, Ben. Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest is calling my name. Yes. I used to train for marathons out there. I would do, I don't remember how many loops. And Laura's saying, I don't think we got much rain at Valley Station. Yeah, you're right. So down there at Bernheim, 2012, 2013 timeframe, I would do that whole loop in the lower, and then I would run up the Fire Tower Hill, which was miserable, then go down. I think it was like 6 mile loop to do all of that. And so I would do that 4 or 5 times. And I ran 26.2 miles out there as a training run. But usually I would stop at around 20 or 22 miles, but spent a lot of time out there at Bernheim. Beautiful place. And they always had a lot of weekend events too.